Hello everyone, welcome to today's presentation of the new Website X5 version, which is 2022.1. I believe we can get started in just a little bit. If you could give a little feedback in the chat for me, just to let me know if you can see and hear me all right. Just please leave a small feedback in the chat so I know that you can actually hear me and we can move on with the presentation. Let's see. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Is the audio all right? Okay, I'm starting to get some feedback, yeah. It's good to go. Okay, that's great. So I believe we can get started then. So first of all, thank you for joining me here today for this presentation. I'm Stefan, of course, just like the little tag in the bottom corner says. So of course today we will be talking about all of the new functionalities, all of the new features that are here now with the new version 2022.1 of Website X5. This new version was released just a few days ago, like a couple of days ago on the 8th of March. So if any of you currently already have an active license, all you need to do to get all of the features I'm going to be talking about, you can just open up your software and you should get the update straight away and you can start working with all of this right away. If by any chance you still did not update your license, I would like to let you know that due to the fact that this new version was just released, you can actually get a discount right now of about 30% on both the Evo and the Pro version. You can find this discount simply by booting up the software. You should find the discount right on the first page of the software as soon as you start it up. So if you're interested in what you're going to be seeing now, keep in mind that just until the 14th of October, the 14th of March, you're going to be able to upgrade your software with this discount that we've got going just right now. So that being said, today we're going to be talking about the new portfolio object, which is an object that comes with the upgraded version of the software. It's not like most of the other objects which need to be purchased separately. This is one of the objects, just like the content slider, that you're going to be finding already in the software as soon as you update your version. Then we're going to be talking about installments, the new feature by PayPal that allows your customers to pay by using installments instead of a single one-time payment. And then we're going to be talking about the new Google Analytics 4 implementation inside the software, as well as a few other small things here and there, like on the start page of the website, which can now host videos. Before you could only add images, you could add text, but no actual videos. It was missing a little bit of, like, it was not very dynamic just by having a still image. So we decided to upgrade this functionality so you can now have a video on your main website's page. So that being said, I would like to move on directly to the software. So I'm going to be showing you my screen now. You should see it right about now. So as you can see, we are already working on a project. I've readied this project up so I can show you all of the features in a very easy and comprehensible way. As you can see here, among the list of the standard objects, now you can see the portfolio as well, which comes both in the Pro and in the Evo version. So this functionality, this object is going to be available in both versions. Of course, I took it, I placed it on the page, so you can just double click on it to customize it. As you can see here, this very much looks like what you get in step 3 when you're building your menu. You can have categories. For example, now we have animals, now we have nature. We made this up just so that you can understand how to work with this object. Then each category has a number of cards. We decided to call them cards. You can add a new one, of course, you can remove them, you can change the order in which they appear. When you add a new card, you can also, of course, double click on this and you can change the title, you can customize the image, you can customize the description, you can add a date to the card, which is going to be helpful later on when we talk about how your customer can organize the cards on the website. And then, of course, you can add 2 buttons as well on the card in case you need to make your website more interactable by the user. Let's say you have like a set of small offers and you want to provide more information about those offers. You can just have these buttons where the user can click on them and get to a page where a bigger description is provided about what the offer is all about. So as I said, yeah, you can add new one, you can remove them, you can edit them and organize them in a different way. Then you have this card tab up here, which presents most of what you'd expect to find in such an object. So you can decide how many cards you want to have per row. You can work on the rounded corners, on the height of the card, the margin, the entrance effect, which I will show you later so you can understand what I mean by entrance effect. You can customize the background color, the font, the opacity, the size of the description, the color of the buttons, everything that you would normally expect to be able to customize here. That being said, you also get the filter section, which I believe is one of the most important functionalities of this new portfolio object, which you can see is separated in different sections that you can also enable or disable according to what you want to display to your users on the website. As you can see, you have this bar up here, which is dedicated to categories, the categories that you created right here. So for example, if I only want to see the cards related to the category animals, I can do that. I can just click on here. All of the other cards will, of course, disappear, and your customer will only be able to see the ones he's actually looking for. Same goes for the search bar down here, of course. The user can search for any kind of text content which is going to be matched against either the title or the description. So if he wants to search for a specific card, he can do that very easily. And then, of course, you have the order as well by default, which essentially means the same order you can see here. You can order the cards by most recent, least recent. Yeah, that's about it. I'm going to be showing the preview to you so you can see what this looks like. So if I open up the website, you can see we got the portfolio object right here. It has the category section, it has the search bar, the order, and then you get all of the cards right below here. You can see if I move my mouse over the cards, I get this effect, and then I'm shown the description, the title, and the buttons, the ones that we configured before, of course. Then if I click on animals, for example, just like I mentioned before, you can see that the other category disappears. If I click on nature, the same happens. You see that they disappear and the new cards come in. This fade effect is exactly what I was talking about before, the entrance effect. This is when you configure the entrance effect, this is when you're actually going to be able to see it. So when the card disappears, you get the entrance effect you selected in the previous screen. Then, of course, you can go back to all categories and all the images will appear again. You can search for them. For example, if I search the number 2, which is only present in portfolio 2, you can see that all of the others disappear and just the portfolio 2 remains. If I delete this, all of the cards will essentially come back. Then I can also choose the order by most recent, least recent, by title if you want to. You just click here and you can see that the cards will reorganize according to the customization of the object, of course, of the cards. I mean, by date, the date that you inserted. Of course, the object will also rely on responsive functionalities. So if I change the size of the screen, you can see that the images are organized automatically. So in general, if you configure inside the software that you want a certain number of cards to be displayed on the same row, the website will attempt to follow the rules that you set. This might not always be possible. So for example, if you want to have too many cards and the space just is not enough to display all of those cards, the software will take over and will only display the amount of cards that can guarantee a proper display of the cards on the website. So as you can see here on mobile, there's no way 2 cards would fit, or maybe they could fit, but the text would be almost illegible. So of course there's only 1 card per row right now. It's essentially a column. This is what you get as far as responsive functionality is concerned. Okay, so that being said, I believe this is about all for the portfolio object. I believe we can move on to the PayPal right here onto step 1, then shopping cart, then order management and payment type list. You can click on add. Now, if you're used to the most recent version of the software, you might find this kind of familiar. If not, it's not actually that different from previous versions, but some of you might recognize the PayPal Commerce Platform option, which is not there for older version, of course. Right now, if you select the PayPal Commerce Platform options, in the new version, you are going to be seeing this checkbox right here that says show installment payment option. It also says display pay later message for available offers, restrictions apply. What does this mean? Essentially, the possibility for your customer to pay through installments is not available for every country. There's many countries where this is available right now, which include the USA, UK, Germany. For example, Italy is still not officially supported, but will be officially supported soon. So what happens is essentially this. If you have your PayPal Commerce Platform account linked, once the user decides to pay with PayPal and he clicks on the PayPal button and he gets brought to the PayPal website to complete the payment, he will also be seeing the possibility of paying through installments. This is actually very good for both the merchant and the customer, because if you are the person actually selling the goods, you're not going to be receiving the payments separately. You're going to be receiving the full amount of the payment, because PayPal will actually provide the money for the customer. So you get the full money for your product. The customer will then, he will actually have to pay to PayPal the amounts divided in several installments, just like the name says. So it's the customer that will have the payment divided and we then have to pay to PayPal, but you as the merchant will receive all of the money immediately. So this won't damage you and this won't damage the customer in any way. It's like it's a win-win situation. Everybody wins essentially by doing this. Also, it is actually not possible to disable the installment option in your country if your country supports this, because due to the fact that there's no actual risk involved for the vendor, for the merchant, it would make no sense to disable this option, because PayPal will provide all of the money upfront. What this button here actually does, if you decided to disable this, if you enable it, essentially if your country is among those that PayPal recognizes as supported, in some places in your website, like for example on the product sheet, on the page dedicated to the products, or in the cart, a few texts will appear directly made by PayPal, which indicate to your customer that he will be able to pay through installments once he gets to the end of the checkout process. So he can know that he can pay through installments without needing to reach the end of the checkout process first. So this is automatic. This is made by PayPal. If you enable this, if you disable this, all of these messages will disappear. But it's very likely that your customer will still be able to pay through installments if he decides to pay on PayPal's website using a PayPal account. So this is it for the new feature about PayPal. I believe we can move on to the statistics and code always on step 1. As I mentioned before, in the previous version of the software, if you enabled the website statistics, you had access to the Website X5 Analytics, which is our internal engine for analytics. which does not rely on third-party services or software. Then you had the Google Universal Analytics, which was the most famous one, the one that probably most of you already used if you are gathering analytics. Now you should see the Google Analytics 4 option as well. So this is the new version of the Google Analytics. Of course, it provides a wide series of new features that you can enable by registering up to their service. If you do so, you will be receiving a tracking ID, a user ID on your Google Analytics panel. You just insert that here, and the link will be made automatically. By doing this, your website will be linked to your Google Analytics 4 control panel, and you will start receiving analytics about your website, what pages are visited the most, all of that you would expect from any analytics tool nowadays. So you just enable this here. You just need a tracking ID and you're good to go. Last but not least, talking about the entry page. For those of you that already used an entry page before, under the page content section, before you did not have the option to select a video, and now you do. So you can just click on there. You get the possibility of uploading a video directly from your computer. You get the possibility of linking a video that perhaps you already uploaded onto your server online, or maybe is located somewhere only you know where. And then you can choose YouTube and Vimeo, of course, just like we did right here. So you just insert the link to the video, then you can click on preview, and you will see that we get this screen with the video from YouTube ready to be played. So this is essentially what's new with the entry page on the website. So I would say that covers about all of it. In case you have any question about any of what I said, maybe if something was not very clear, maybe if you have further question on what I've just shown you, feel free to ask them now. Maybe if you don't have any question now, or if I'm unable to answer your question right now, keep in mind that both me and my colleagues are always available via phone, on our official help center, or via email. If you want to email us at sales@incomedia.eu, we're always ready to answer any kind of doubt on the new version, on the older version, any question or doubt you might have. So let's see if you have any question or doubt on something I said. Seems like this isn't the case. So if you do not have any questions, I'm just going to assume that I explained myself perfectly. Everything is perfectly clear. So you're, like, let's say, good to go. Let's just wait a bit and see if any new question pops up. Okay. So it seems like this isn't the case. So as I mentioned before, I'm just going to assume that I was perfectly clear in everything I said. So that being said, I believe we can end this webinar by reminding you, like I said before, that if you currently do not have an active license for the software, you can just open up your version and you're going to be finding a 30% discount available until the 14th of March. If you want to purchase either the new Evo version or the Pro version. And yet again, any question you have, no problem, just email, just call us, just contact us on the help center, and we will be more than happy to answer any latent question you might still have. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me today. I hope what I've shown you was interesting to you, and then I guess I'll see you on the next webinar. Thank you again and have a good day.